Good morning, children. How are you today? We're going to learn about baby Moses. And this is coming from the book of Exodus, chapter 2, 1 through 10. Now, remember we was talking about Jacob. And Jacob's family grew to be very, very big. There was many of Jacob's family. Now, the new king of Egypt did not like them. They were Israelites. And of course, he was an Egyptian, but he did not like the Israelites. And he was going to do things to hurt the Israelites. So one day, an Israelite woman had a baby boy. And since she knew the king was so mean, she wanted to hide her baby from him to keep it out of harm's way. She didn't want nothing to hurt her little baby or no one. So she made a very special basket that would float on water. So she carefully placed her little baby in the basket, baby Moses. She set it in the river among the tall grass. An Egyptian princess, now remember, the Egyptians didn't like Israelites. The king was against them. But this Egyptian princess saw the basket floating in the water. When she found that baby boy, she loved him. So the princess decided to keep the baby. Can you imagine finding a baby in a basket floating on the river or in the water? That would be something, wouldn't it? But that's what happened. She named him Moses. Now Moses' sister was watching from afar, and she said, I can find a nurse to take care of the baby, because see, the princess really wasn't too good about taking care of babies. She never knew how to take care of baby, but she loved this little baby and she wanted this little baby for her own. So she had to have somebody that would know how to take care of a baby. So she said, okay. So the Moses' sister, who she didn't know this was Moses' sister, she had no clue, went and got Moses' mother to take care of the baby, because she knew it was her son and she wanted to take care of him. So see, this is how God took care of baby Moses when he was just a little baby. He was watching over Moses. And the Israelites are what we call God's people, because that's how God feels. They're his people from the beginning. So now God watches over us all of us. It's just not me or you. He watches over everybody. And it's sad that he has to watch over the evil people too. He sees what they do and he doesn't like it. It breaks his heart. And that's why we have to pray for those people who are mean and evil and don't believe in him. But he kept baby Moses safe, because he had a plan for baby Moses. And hopefully as we get into the story, it tells us more about that. I haven't looked. Yeah, well, I think it will tell us a few things about baby Moses as he grew up. He was very special and did some very special things. God wanted to use him in a very special way, just like God uses all of us in special ways. Just like with me. You know, God put it on my heart to tell you the Bible stories because you're little and sometimes you don't get to go to church, or you don't get to listen to and learn who God is. You know, you don't get to listen to people talk about God, or maybe you've heard it but never knew. So that's why I'm doing these little stories. I want you to learn about God. So now, God watches over me and will keep me safe. So I want you to say that to yourself. God watches over me and will keep me safe. Okay? So that is what you learned today. Now, the special little song that I like is He's Got the Whole World in His Hand. And it's talking about God. God has the whole world in His hand. His hands are that big, and this world is really big. So God has some big hands, and He has it all in control. God's in control of everything on this earth. So it goes, He's got the whole world. This is our whole world, okay? Whole world in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. It does that 4 times. And then He's got the wind and the rain in His hands. You sing that 3 times. And then He's got the whole world in His hands again at the end of that. Then He's got teeny little baby in His hands. He's got the teeny little baby. You put your little hands like this and you're rocking a baby in his hands. He's got the teeny little baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Okay, he's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. And you can go like that for hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And then it goes back to the chorus. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 So let's sing this. I think you'll enjoy it.
He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the tiny little baby in his hands. He's got the tiny little baby in his hands. He's got the tiny little baby in his hands. He's got the whole world 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 in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got the whole world 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 in his hands.
Well, I sure hope you like that because I like that little song. It's been a little song we've had in my life a long time because I'm now going on 62 years old and I remember, or 63 years old, and I remember that song. That was one of my favorites we used to sing when we were younger. So I hope it becomes one of your favorites because, you know, our God is so big. He holds this whole world and we can't imagine how he can do that, can we? It's hard, but he's right here with us all the time, watching over us. So remember, kids, say your prayers tonight. Pray for our president, pray for this world, pray for the first responders, and we know who they are, right? Firemen, police officers, the ambulance people, paramedics, doctors and nurses. They're all there to help us, and we need to pray for them because they have really hard jobs to do, important jobs to do. And we, as Christians who love God, have an important job to do too. We need to tell people more about God and Jesus. So I hope you enjoyed your little story today. And you have a wonderful day. And we'll learn more tomorrow about Moses. Let's see what the next little story is going to be about Moses. I think this is an interesting one. The bush that wouldn't burn. There's a bush on fire, but it wouldn't burn. Now, most times when bush is on fire, we know they burn up, right? Yep, they do. Well, this one just wouldn't burn. So let's find out about this special bush tomorrow. So you tune back in tomorrow and find out, okay? Miss Linda loves you all, and you take care. And we'll all see you later. Bye-bye.